Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into UFW, the Uncomplicated Firewall. UFW is a must-know tool for securing your Linux server. By the end of this video, you'll be confident to set up a firewall to block unwanted traffic while allowing what you need. So let's get started. First off, we're logged in into our Ubuntu server. All right, this is my lab, and we're going to install UFW if not already installed. All right, so I'm going to say sudo apt install UFW often y. So it's installing. All right, while that is installing, I'd like to give a shout out, a big thank you to all my subscribers. If you've not subscribed to the channel, thank you very much for your support. And if you're just watching the channel, please do well to subscribe, drop a comment, share the video, and give us your feedback. All right. Thank you very much. All right. So that's installed. So the next thing we're going to do is to check the status. Sudo, because if you install UFW, sometimes some default configuration comes with it. All right. So when I mean default configuration, default rule will automatically be configured along with the installation. So let's just check the status. UFW status. Good, very good. Is inactive. All right. So what we're going to do, let's clear the screen. What we're going to do is, just to be very, very sure, we're going to reset UFW. Sudo UFW reset. All right. Ask you, yes. So it said resetting all rules to installed defaults. This may disrupt existing SSH connection. Proceed with operation. Just put Y for yes and then press enter. All right, so you see that it backed up all your existing rules while resetting, backed all of them to a directory. etc UFW user.rules, then the date stamp. All right, for each of the rule. All right, before and after, and the user. Okay, so we've done that successfully. So what we've done will disable UFW and clear any old rules. Perfect. This is perfect for avoiding conflicts, when setting up new rules. All right. Okay. All right. So this is just like you doing it afresh. Okay. Please, this is only recommended when you know that the system is brand new. All right. You just set it up and there has not been any existing firewall rule that has been set up by your company. All right. So that's why you check the status first, verify which ports are already opened. If you are not the one that set up the system. All right. Okay. Now we're going to set up some default policy. Okay. We'll block all incoming traffic, which is by default a security best practice. All right. You're supposed to know, set up incoming traffic. So by yourself. All right. So anyone that has been configured automatically, you have to disable it. All right. Okay. So while you disable incoming traffic, you're going to allow outgoing traffic, outgoing connections, so your server can access the internet as the case may be. So what we're going to do is, let's set up default policies. Sudo UFW default deny. So we're denying incoming. Okay. So press enter. Let me just check the spellings. They are correct. All right. Default incoming policy changed to deny. Be sure to update your rules accordingly. All right. So we're going to then allow outgoing traffic. Just call the command and then say allow outgoing. All right. So that's done. Okay. This means no one can access your server. All right. That's just what you've done. No one can access the server unless you explicitly allow it. But your server can still reach, your server can still communicate to the web. All right. So this is best practice. You as the administrator or as a cyber security or IT security officer should be able to monitor traffic that are coming in and that the one that is going out of your server. All right. So now let's allow essential services. Essential services like your SSH, HTTP, HTTPS, that is port 22, port 80, and port 443. Let's allow them. Let's allow them to send traffic to your server. All right, to and from your server. Okay, we're going to say sudo UFW allow. So SSH, for instance, by default is port 22. Okay. However, if you've changed your default port from port 22 to any port number, you just specify it. Okay, because if I say SSH allow, sudo UFW allow SSH, SSH automatically will grant port 22 access, port 22. So if I run this, if I execute this command, it's going to grant port 22. Okay, so let's just do this first. Okay, it's allowed. Okay, then let's do for HTTP, which is port 80. HTTP is allowed. Let's also do for HTTPS, that's port 443. Okay, now all these have been allowed. Okay, so we're going to check the status of this port. All right, we're going to check the status of each of these ports that we have allowed. Okay, so remember, UFW status is still inactive. We've not enabled it. Okay, we've not enabled UFW. So for the sake of this session now, let's just enable and then check the status of what we have done before we then proceed to customizing ports. All right. Okay. Sudo UFW enable. Yes. Firewall is active and enabled. Okay. So we're going to say sudo UFW status. All right. Now these are the rules that we configured just now. You see port 22, port 80, port 443 allowed anywhere for IPv4 and IPv6. However, this server does not use port 22. This server uses port 2211. Okay? 2211. That's what this server uses. Okay. Sudo, let's just see listening ports. Okay. Sudo ls for I. All right, now cut here. HTTP. Okay, here. This is the port I configured for my SSH connection, 2211. All right. So port 22 is not supposed to be allowed because I want to control how SSH is sending traffic, and also for security measures, I changed the port number. Okay, so automatically what this means is this port 2211 cannot connect to this server, cannot connect to this server SSH, except I use port 22, which defeated the purpose of changing the port from port 22 to port 2211. So what we're going to do is to allow, we're going to deny port 22 and then allow port 2211. Okay, let me clear the screen. Sudo UFW. Okay, we'll get back there. I just okay, let me allow that first. Sorry. Sudo UFW allow 2211/TCP. Okay, good. So let's check UFW status again. Sudo UFW status. All right. You see, 2211 is allowed now, both IPv6 and IPv4 and IPv6. Okay. All right. So just say I should get that one out of the way. Now we are going to allow specific traffic. That's aside from the SSH, we just did default customized SSH port that we just did. We're going to now, we want to restrict access to a specific IP or subnet. For example, let's allow only devices from a particular IP or subnet to access all ports, or just port 443, for instance. Okay, so let me sudo UFW allow from. Okay, so this is 10. I'm going to allow this IP, the IP is 10. I also have 11. So allow 192.168.333.11. Okay, /24. That's subnet. So I'm allowing this IP to have access to all ports in my server. That is, I'm allowing the server with this IP, with this IP, with this IP, this subnet, to have access to all the ports in this .10 server. All right. Okay. Rule added. Rule added. Okay. So what if I also want this yes, this allow it to have access to all right, but what if I don't want it to have access to all but just a particular port? For instance, maybe I want it to have access to ports 443, that's HTTP. All right, so I'll just recall that command to any, and I'll add to any port 443. Okay, so it's added. But this command now is overruled by this command because this one have access to all ports. This is just to, and it's the same IP. So the point is, if you want to customize or just restrict rather a server or an IP to have access to a particular port, use this command. But if you want the server to have access to all ports, then you use this command. All right. So I will deny this one later. Okay. So just say I should hint that one in. So we've enabled UFW. We've started UFW. I guess we've started. Did we? Did we start UFW sudo system ctl? I don't think we did. UF system ctl status UFW. Uncompleted file. Okay, inactive. So let's just start it. Start. All right. Could not start. Oh, sorry. I missed. System ctl start UFW. All right, so let's call the status again. All right, now is active. It is active. Very good. So what we've done so far, just to quickly recap, we have first off cleared or did a reset of all default policies, default rules. All right. Then we configured our own rule. All right. As you can see here, then we started the UFW. You can see here is active. All right. Okay. So that's done. Let's see how we can deny certain traffic. Let's deny certain traffic. For instance, let's say sudo UFW status to view all existing policy. Now we see port 22 stay active. We are going to deny port 22 or even delete port 22. All right. First off, let's just deny it. Sudo UFW deny 22 TCP. Okay, so it's denied. Let's see the status again. Status. All right, so you see here, it is denied. IPv6 denied and IPv4 denied. All right, so I can as well say, okay, just remove it, like delete that particular rule. I don't want to see it at all. I could say, clear screen, sudo UFW status numbered. Okay, then I then go with sudo UFW delete. So you delete by number, all right? And the port 22 is 1. So delete 1. I say yes. Okay, so let's check the status again. Status numbered. All right, you see port 22 is out of it. IPv4 port 22. But port 22 IPv6 is still active. So let's also delete that. And at the moment it is 6 here. 6. Okay, so delete. Yes. So let's clear the screen and then status again. Status numbered. All right, you see it's gone. Port 22 for IPv4 and IPv6. It's gone. All right. Here you see the rule that we granted then, that this IP should have access to all the ports in the server. You get it now? Then the other rule that we allow, that this IP should have access to HTTPS port, which is port 443. So we can decide to say, okay, we'll deny this particular one and leave the other one. Let's deny this one, or even delete it, or delete this one. Okay, you do that. Okay, take it as your assignment. Okay, delete this rule. Okay, so it remains only this. Delete it for IPv4 and IPv6. Okay, all right. So if in your system you allow HTTP, which is unsecured, okay, if you allow it, then leave this. If you do not allow it, your applications are all secured, then you can take this off. Okay, all right. So just to recap, okay, so before we go on to recap what we've done, to check UFW log, the log are located in /var/log/UFW.log. All right, that's where the logs are located. So if you go there, let's say sudo. Oh, okay, since I'm not, it will fail since I'm not logged in. Okay, okay, it went through. LSFNL. Let's look for UFW. Okay, here. This is the log, the current log. These are old logs. So you tell this to see the logs. Okay, let me clear the screen then till sudo till fnf/val/log/ufw.log. So here it's going to give you live actions of what is happening. You see UFW, block, whatever. You get all the activities of UFW from this log. All right. Okay. That's that. That said, all right. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you practice these steps, the commands. If there's any aspect of this tutorial that you do not understand, please do well to drop a comment. Thank you. So please also do not forget to subscribe. Subscribing and watching our video will encourage us to drop more content. All right, more beautiful content like this one. Okay, thank you very much and see you next time.